Grayson Allen set a career high with 42 points, also set the Suns record, breaking his own previous record of 9 threes made, which he did multiple times with 10. So let's go ahead and dive into the film on why I think this is something that's not necessarily repeatable, but something that is a testament to the process of Jordan Ott. All right, again, so like I was mentioning in the intro, it's all about the process for the Suns, and the process in particular with Grayson Allen, with everything we'll be looking at in this film session. So as you get to this first play, we're going to be starting with paying attention to where he is and the action that's happening on the ball. So he is 3 passes away. 1, 2, 3. He's 3 passes away from the ball right now. So as we see the Suns get into their early kind of drag screen and an empty side, all of this space here empty so that they can work in 2-man action here. Watch closely what's happening here with Jose Alvarado, who's obviously guarding Grayson Allen. So you see the screen initially getting ready to be set for Colin Gillespie here from Oso Ighodaro. But look at the relationship between these two defenders from the New Orleans Pelicans. They're doing what the Suns like to do in terms of icing action and trying to keep it to the outer third of the floor, not allowing for this ball handler to be able to turn the corner and get going towards the middle. So what they're doing here, kind of flipping the angle of the screen, is to then take this defender out of it and try to put strain on this defender, while also making these 3 defenders on the backside be tasked with guarding these 3 players here for the Suns. So as the Suns kind of play the numbers advantage game as they flip the screen, Colin Gillespie does a good job of engaging the big while also having his man trailing. So he's holding 2 to the basketball. Now it turns into a numbers game again. It's going to be 4 for the Suns versus 3 from the Pelicans inside the 3-point line. So as you see Gillespie do a good job of holding that advantage, makes the defense react just enough. Because the defense reacts the way in which they do, what that's going to do is open up this opportunity for the quick spray pass to Royce O'Neal. And as it gets to Royce O'Neal, that's where it starts to get fun, because as we see the Suns kind of manipulate the numbers advantage on the backside, it's now a 2 versus 1 for the Pelicans here, with Jose Alvarado having to navigate a screen or pin in that's being set from Isaiah Livers for Grayson Allen as he lifts up from the corner to kind of make the catch a little bit more advantageous. Gets the catch. Because of the screen set from Livers and because of the timing of the pass coming from Colin Gillespie on the spray to Royce O'Neal, he gets himself a wide open catch and shoot 3 on the backside, and he's able to knock that one down. As we let this one kind of flow through, just so you can get a feel for the timing of the reads, this is playing with pace in the half court. Not necessarily playing fast, but early in the shot clock, as we take it back to the beginning one more time, early in the shot clock, you're going to see them getting into action that's putting the pressure on the defense with 17 seconds. That's playing with tempo, and now you're allowed to play fast out of that initial advantage that's created because you get 2 to the ball so early in the shot clock, and then you ultimately end up getting great shot quality on the backside because of that. And get to clip number 2. A little bit of transition here, but then it starts to get fun with the Suns as, again, 18 seconds on the shot clock. They're already going to be getting the defense in rotation and having to make help decisions that's going to distort their shell. Now, they do a good job with this kind of peel switch here, but the Suns have their blender kind of rolling already, again, with 16 seconds now on the shot clock. They've had a threatening drive that's forced a rotation, and now they're going to be able to kind of play off of that. You get a little bit of a redrive from Royce O'Neal after Grayson Allen's initial drive, and you see Grayson go from his initial drive to then now respacing and getting out of there as he sees Royce's drive getting ready to completely collapse the nail help here. So as he does that, Grayson simply relocates, and now because of the paint touch that's taking place from Royce O'Neal, now they have their blender rolling, and now it's about how they keep that advantage. So another pass out. So many passes happening already with 10 seconds, within the first 10 seconds of the clock as they get into action. Gets to the second side, another +1 pass, another closeout created, another paint touch, and you see it's Grayson Allen getting this catch and shoot 3 late in the clock to end the possession. This is one we talked about on our postgame show following the win on Monday. Not necessarily about them playing fast to get an early shot clock. You don't want to get an early average shot. If Grayson Allen was to take this shot right here, no one would have been mad because he's a player that can make this shot, but this is an early shot on average shot quality. If you can get a better shot, and with 18 seconds on the clock, you're more than likely going to be able to do so with the way that the Suns are playing. You want to play to that. So because of that, you get the redrive like we talked about. All of this movement, all of these passes happening. The shell is completely distorted. Everybody's moving around. You get all of these ghost screen actions. Little chase action here for Grayson as he plays off of Ighodaro. This is still not a great shot if he would have took that one. With 5 seconds on the clock, this is the most telltale sign of buy-in right here. Because usually guys are either going to just hit the roller here, put up a contested midi here, or live with something that's low on the shot quality spectrum. Because the Suns are bought in, they're trusting all of these extra passes in depths of the shot clock where other teams will just live with a contested shot in some capacity, that they end up reaping the benefits just off of the trust and the buy-in, and we see the result that they get there for Grayson Allen. Next one here, a little bit of semi-transition. I like these kind of early offense flares that they try to get into in their transition, kind of when they get into a little bit of a secondary break. You see Royce kind of flowing in to set the flare screen. They just switch that, so nothing really comes to that early in the clock. But what they do get is an opportunity to put this player right here, Saddiq Bey, in action super early in the shot clock. So you see a quick ghost screen being set. And because of the ghost screen happening here, what it's doing is putting a little bit of strain on this defender here as Gillespie kind of goes from one location to the next, giving him just a little bit of a closeout to kind of attack. Nothing really comes of that initial one, but watch what happens again. You get one ghost screen that's set and happens there. Now you get another one that's being set here from Grayson Allen for Colin Gillespie. Nothing really comes of that one either. But again, what it does result in is a closeout opportunity for this defender here as Grayson Allen gets it. And because he has that weight distribution that you see suggesting that he wants to try to close out and cut Grayson off from going right, Grayson counters and just gets to his right hand, and he's ultimately able to get access to the paint, collapse the nail help. And now because he gets this super deep paint touch and he's allowed to play off of 2 feet, which is as important as anything, one of the best qualities of any guards in the league is if you're able to stop and stay on balance and play off of 2 feet. He does just that here. He's able to get into one of these offhand finishes playing through contact. I don't know how this wasn't a foul. It was called, as you can see here. He clearly got hit, but nonetheless, you see the process, and the Suns getting an early shot quality look that they want, and Grayson's able to get up a finish and playing through contact. And then we get to this next one. This is where a lot of the growth with Grayson Allen this season is hitting different than it did in any of the prior seasons with him and with the Suns. And that's him being able to work in 2-man action with Devin Booker, but not only be operating as the screener in those actions. The fact that he's now able to kind of reverse roles with Devin Booker and be able to initiate offense, if not just initiate points of attack where Devin Booker is now the screener, that allows for them to play into their mismatch hunting process a little bit more uniquely. And honestly, it opens up other options within that kind of 2-man action as well, because with Grayson being able to get downhill and just simply get paint touches and play off of 2 feet from there, it hits different for a defense. So obviously, Herb Jones guarding Devin Booker, they don't want to switch this kind of guard 2-man action if they don't have to. And before we get to the rest of it, I want to pay close attention to the spacing. So look at Dillon Brooks, where he started this possession, where he ultimately is going to get to as action takes place. The Suns have both of these wings here completely freed, and they are going to essentially have 3 players below the break of the free throw line, all to kind of create a natural 2 versus 1 in space for these 2 players. Devin Booker does a good job in relation to where the ball handler is and in relation to the kind of strengths of Grayson Allen, setting his screen at a specific angle that's going to either force Herb Jones to rotate over to ultimately make for a switch that's going to take place on the ball, or they're going to just concede leverage and allow for Grayson Allen to get downhill. Other part with all of this, we talked about Grayson Allen and me really appreciating his drives. Go back and watch how many of these go to his left hand. There's a clear preference there. It's hard to game plan and scheme for it when you put Devin Booker in action and you don't want to switch his primary defender on to Grayson's. You add all of that up in terms of the scouting report, Grayson's strengths, the spacing for the Suns, where all of the players are in relation to where the ball is on the court, and you just make for a process that's hard to guard. The big man here is going to be at an awkward angle to try to want to beat Grayson Allen to that spot if he's able to. Grayson's able to get downhill, plays to a little bit of decel, gets up a left-handed attempt at the basket and ends up getting free throws from it because of the ways in which he puts pressure on it. These are the way that the Suns put pressure on opponents in unique ways and make them have to make decisions and having counter punches on the fly to everything that it is that they're seeing. And then we get to this final clip. Talked about Grayson being able to initiate actions in 2-player with smalls and being able to manipulate things there. Where he's always going to be most at home is when he's operating as a screener. So again, same space and alignment, same action that they're going to be getting into, different personnel. Jordan Goodwin's on the ball now. Grayson's obviously going to be the screener in this action, unlike the first rep that we looked at here where he was kind of initiating offense with Devin Booker. They're going to ultimately get into the small screen. And you see him kind of fighting for position with Jose Alvarado. ultimately sets the screen, and I slow it down right here because we talk about the spacing and the way in which this kind of putting a bind and a pressure on the defense. Because he sets this screen at this angle, even someone like Jordan Goodwin, who's not the biggest offensive threat, if he has a threat to turn the corner, it's going to put pressure on this defender that's guarding Grayson. If he's putting pressure on this defender as he gets ready to turn the corner while also keeping pressure on his direct matchup in Jordan Goodwin, where's the next layer of help going to come from the Pelicans as Grayson Allen slips into this space that they already have kind of pre-created before action takes place? And is this defender going to be able to get there quick enough? As we see, the answer is not going to be no because of the groove and the rhythm that Grayson's operating in. And again, this is why I say because of the process of the Suns, Grayson's put in great position to have some heaters like this, but also players like Royce O'Neal and Dylan Brooks and Devin Booker himself and Jalen Green when he ultimately comes back to the lineup. So the process is everything for the Suns. It's breeding opportunities for players like Grayson Allen to do things that he did on his career high night.